I have no idea what's going on in Hollywood. Between the writer's strike, I'm getting right into it. Between the writer's strike and these sequels, dude, it would be complacent to say originality is needed. New Banks versus Davis. You know we don't do the numbers, so this isn't Portland Banks. This is Banks versus Davis. Dude, just say I want to show my little bit of hairs because I need a haircut. It's weird too. I'll get back to what I was saying. Since needing a haircut for the first time in 3 years, I've been having dreams for the past week about getting a haircut, which is wow. I don't know how normal that is, but for me, it's been very irregular. Like I've been having dreams I've gotten haircuts, so it's something that's needed. Anyhow, I need to cut the hair of the execs so they can open up their mind. But dude, I just watched Transformers. All right, so I'm making that be known. I watched Transformers, and that's where this ideal came from. Me and Davis talked about this previously. I want to say around this time last year about the need for stars. I'll get to that as well, but more so what Hollywood is doing right now. It's reminiscent of the writer's strike in '07. I don't know why I thought it was like '08, '09, but it was '07. And what came from that was the Green Hornet. All right. So what came from that was the Green Hornet. So that lets you know where Hollywood was. And essentially it's like where we are right now. So the highest grossing movie of the year thus far, I believe it is. It's Super Mario, animated movie. And that wasn't hugely regarded. People just said it's great if you want to see it. I saw it twice and I was like, all right, it's cool. It is what I expected it to be. But now we're getting this Zelda movie and turn that all the way up. You can't mess that up. So yeah, get the same team. Of course, Nintendo will back it just because, nobody goes against the mouse. But besides that, the highest grossing movie of the year, which is about to crack the top five if it hasn't already, is Super Mario. It's an animated movie. Cut to now. I'll talk about Spider-Man as well. So I won't go too deep into it, but I kept hearing people saying, this movie is perfect. This is the best Spider-Man overall movie. This is that. And usually when people are doing that, I'm pessimistic just because I could be a hater at times. But I was like, all right, let me tap in. I watched it. Definitely movie of the year so far. So that I got to see where the numbers are with that right now. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be up there. And for an animated movie to be up there. And the thing is, it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes. Usually animated movies are about capped off at 2 hours. This is 2 hours and 20 minutes. So got to get some hats. But still, it worked perfect for what it is. And then, of course, we're getting Beyond the Multiverse in March. So, yeah, both of those movies are going to probably crack 500 million more. But it's a pattern. It's like animated movies have made money in the past year. And, Hollywood is definitely Mr. Me Too. So what's going to happen is, all right, this hat is annoying me. What's going to happen is because this movie made money, far as the genre is stuck to, the other ones will as well. And then the beat goes on and the beat goes on. So, all right, in a minute, I'm about to just take the hat off. My hairline ain't all the way there. So it's just like, all right, yeah, don't take it all the way off, bro. I'm getting shape up. I need to stop being insecure. Back to the program. Don't worry about a grown man haircut. Just worry about, or hairline. I never understood people caring about people's hairline. Just worry about the content you're getting. And I don't care at this age about any of that. I'm not here to impress grown men. Just outwork you. That's it. That's how I impress you, by outworking. But I digress. So, saw Transformers. I want to go to that. And the thought in my head is, during this writer's strike, like it was in '07, damn, bro, y'all running out of ideas. And that's been said since about '07. Since like Iron Man came out, and then everybody's like, oh, these superhero movies are the new wave. Let's do this for the next. It's been 16 years of just constant superhero movies. Now, to a certain degree, superhero movies are dying out just because there's only so many properties you can snatch up. I mean, DC has so many C-list characters coming out, other than a Swamp Thing, that it's like, all right, the Suicide Squad came out 2021, which is great. They're rebooting Superman for like the fourth time, but this one is supposed to be this one. And again, if James Gunn got some emotion out of me personally with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is probably my second favorite movie, I might put that number one still. I can't even hold you. Like, maybe I'm just getting caught up in the moment. Like, Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse is probably my movie here, but hey, man, that Guardians 3 might be above that one. So I might have to put Spider-Verse 2. That's how great Guardians 3 was. And I said years ago, it wasn't needed. I wasn't familiar with your game. I apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game, James Gunn. So that was great. But now it's at a certain moment where properties are just, being misused. I'll say that. I won't give a spoiler away. I don't know how many people. I mean, it made pretty significant amount of money on Friday, which is his opening day, being Transformers. How long will that carry? I don't know. I expected to see it on Paramount Plus within the next couple of weeks. Uh, the Flash comes out next week or this week. As of this recording, it'll be out. I'm definitely tapped into that one. I might have to go to theaters for that one just because for years, it was shot in like, I swear that movie was shot in like 2021. Had to be. But it was shot, it's been re-edited, it's been this post-credit scenes and everything in between. But yeah, people are saying, no, this movie is it. Especially the early screening from last year, everybody's like, yeah, this is the one. So people keep saying that, I'm definitely tapped in. And I mean, I just been waiting for it for years just because of what they're doing. I'm all into that multiverse stuff because I think about that. And in real life, what if this is the multiverse of this Earth 2022 and stuff like that? Like, imagine. I think I've tested this theory on the podcast before. Like, imagine if it's like a Earth 2121 Banks. Like, I don't even know what that person would be. Maybe somebody that's wealthy or something. I'm not. A person that's wealthy, has good teeth, dreadlocks, but is a complete douche. That's probably what it is. I don't know, but regardless, I always think about that. So that it's about to be a slobber knocker, my God, for the next couple of weeks. We got Transformers, we got the Flash, then we got, I feel like the 19th, was it something like 19th? That's not the 19th. Then after that, Indiana Jones. I don't know. I don't think that's going to draw a lot, being Indiana Jones. That's just me. I keep thinking it's not going to draw a lot, but the nostalgia people, the older people are definitely going to watch it. And then Mission Impossible is coming out. And I don't care to really think about the other movies that are coming out this summer. Not saying I don't want to see them. Like, it's packed up for the next couple of months. It's just the fact of these properties, since I was a kid, are keeping the lights on in Hollywood. And there's a writer's strike. My thinking is, what happens if an agreement, of course, is going to happen. I see an agreement coming as soon as next month, but that lets supremacy these studios have. Multi 20 times billionaires, and they don't want to pay the writers for work. And then they scared of the AI stuff, which you should be, because, boy, besides it, Kanye being AI, they keep using his voice on different songs. It's like, just why Kanye? But that's a different conversation I want to have eventually about Kanye and LeBron, which are not two of the same, but as far as these entities, and probably Kanye being the biggest heel in music history. Love it. Not what he said, obviously, his recent statements before they, whatever they did to make him not talk anymore, or this version, this 6 foot Kanye, and the other one, I don't know where he is. Whole different conversation. Again, 1040. It's these properties that I grew up on, or as a kid. Oh, the Ninja Turtle movie that comes out in August. Can't wait to see that. That's animated, and that's going to draw a lot of money. That's why I'm a little weary of what's going to happen. because Hollywood might see the animated movies making a lot of money, but like, oh, let's just do animated movies. Let's reanimate Black Panther. Let's reanimate, I don't know, man. Like, who was the duck? Oh, I forgot. The duck that's always in Guardians of the Galaxy, the obscure Marvel character. I forgot his name, but it's always a trend. What's making them more wealthy than they already is? It's what's going to be the next thing. So again, I don't want to spoil it with Transformers, but it's an Easter egg in there that leads to another franchise, and it's like it's a franchise on top of this franchise, and then y'all try to say because this one takes place after Bumblebee, which is crazy. I got to watch Bumblebee at some point, probably later on today. Now, knowing the chronological order, I was supposed to watch was Bumblebee, then the Beast Wars. You know, they said Rise of the Beast is Beast Wars, and then the '07 movie follows, and this which came out of the writer's strike, and then so on and so forth. I haven't seen the last two or the last three, I should say. I have no reason to see those, but definitely I got to watch Bumblebee just because I heard it was fire, and I've tried to watch like a couple minutes of it a couple years ago, but I was just like, eh. So it's just I'm saying stuff that people should think about. Yes, we're going to watch these movies because of the start of it's a nostalgia factor involved. Like Indiana Jones. That third movie never happened, but this counts as a third movie technically, even though it's the third movie do exist, but in my mind it doesn't. We are going to watch it because it's Indiana Jones. Two of my favorite movies ever. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom. So I'm gonna watch it. And that's how they get you, just because again, nostalgia. Transformers, because I used to love the show as a kid. Spider-Man speaks for itself. They just came out with a Spider-Man movie that wasn't that good in December of 2021. So go watch this one. And then apparently it's announced that they're doing a Miles Morales live action, which is fine because we were supposed to get that years ago. But I like what they're doing with this, and so this come out after the last movie and probably intertwines with the last movie. Who knows? It's just they're creating these crossover multiverses just because it's like, why not? It does well with merch. It does well with conversation pieces to be had, and more so just getting butts in the seat, because that's what it's always been with Hollywood. Always, you have to draw money. It's not about the story per se. It's about what draws the most money. And then splitting these movies up, it's something that's, I guess, going on now. So we got Mission Impossible that's coming out. Then part two, I believe, comes out next year, probably 2025. Who knows? He's probably jumping out of space at this point, literally jumping out of space at this point, being Tom Cruise. The Fast movie was only in theaters for like 2-3 weeks, and then it bombed. And they was like, yeah, let's just put this on. I think it's on Paramount Plus. And yeah, y'all know how this podcast came to be. But even then, I'm not watching it, yo. I can't. I'm PTSD. I cannot. I refuse to watch Fast 10. I'm lying. I'm like, no, I don't even know if I could watch it again. I literally don't know if I could watch it again. Me and Davis, shouts out to Davis, of course, one half of Thanks versus Davis. We actually talked about, there it is right there. Been doing this for years, and forget to put the banner up. More so 3 years with StreamYard. Got to put the banner up. Technical. Me and him talked about it on BRP's Patreon with Cal. Shouts out to Cal. And yeah, the way we broke that movie down, it was like, it's enough for me, dog. Like, again, they're talking about after this one, which is supposed to wrap up the whole entire franchise, they're talking about doing other movie, dog. Just let it go. And then apparently Fast 10 2, like this is Final Fantasy, or Fast 11 is supposed to come out in 2025. Like, nah, bro. I told David I'm just not gonna care at that point. I kind of don't care now. Like, honestly, it's Fast 10 was so bad, and it's really like, what else can you do? And I don't want to get too deep into details about it, but it's at a point now. It's just like, yo, what else can you do that you haven't already done, that we haven't seen already? It's like, I don't want to see anything else, yo. I literally, like, it's It's 2 years from now. Who knows what the world is going to be? It's fires going on in New York or in Canada that's traveling New York. Aliens are at a rapid pace. I'm not trying to sit in the theater with a Klingon, bruh. That's just gonna be me. Maybe I'm just racist towards Klingons. I don't know, but I don't want to just sit in the movie theater knowing I'm next to an alien dude. Like, what if they're gonna try to probe me or some weird stuff like that? And they ain't gonna understand what pause mean as they try to probe me, and then I say something about it and then get evaporated. So I don't think 2025 is gonna work for me. Vin Diesel. You might want to put that out ASAP. And these type of movies don't take that long to put out. So this initially I said the summer blockbuster was the thing I want to talk about. I don't even know if it's a summer blockbuster. It's now becoming just movies in general because they spaced out the movies that you would perceive to be summer blockbusters, like the Ant-Man, Quantum Realm, which I got to go back and watch. That came out in March. Creed 3 came out in March. It's been a pretty good year. Like, this is the best year in cinema. I don't know when. I want to say 2019, but even then, it's just like, nah, it might be even before that. And I think it just aligned properly just because everything was supposed to come out 2021 last year, but then the pandemic happened. Um, this Aquaman movie, I could make a whole episode about the Aqua movie too, because I feel like that's money laundering. That's finally supposed to come out maybe this year. And the only reason why I keep up with that movie is just because it's like, dude, like, is it real? Like, did y'all actually shoot that? Because they shot that like 2020. And then they just like, yeah, we don't know. Just put it on Max, bro. That's what I gotta do. So again, I originally wanted to talk about the summer blockbuster, but nah, it's just more so about movies in general. Cause hey man, we hear about it on the news. Hollywood is a suspect. Gotta be still, and I gotta get some better equipment, legit. But do people even care? Like, honestly, if I just put this as audio, would people care? I try to be professional as possible. But do people actually care? That I feel like more people just want to see you, which is weird. Like, why do you want to see me? But people really see me and hear me and care about the sound quality. But thank you all for being here. So almost lost my train of thought, but I got that back. I think I lost my train of thought. No, it's just like, dude, like, what do you do? What do you do, far as the because it's about making money. That I like the studios don't really have anything to say because they'll find people that'll just take scripts, like do this ghost script. So you just sell it. So you can just sell a script for $1 to $3 million. You'll get no credit, which is stupid because when this writer's strike ends and they come to the agreement about residuals, because that's what it's really about. Like, dude, we on streaming and we get no residuals. I feel like artists need to do this. But some of them are so damn stupid and they so selfish and just thinking about, the branding. Because that's why, I mean, that's a whole conversation on its own why American music is failing because there's no creativity. People are just worried about their brand and everything is about being on a playlist. You just making music just for it to get on a playlist. You really don't care about crafting an album. Just enough where you can make something to do a festival, go on tour. Like, dude, hey man, not to just pick on rap because it's other music genres that are bad right now. Most music genres are bad right now. But dude, Nas is right. Hip hop is dead. It just took 17 years to really manifest. Yeah, it just took 17 years for it to manifest, but hip hop is dead, dude. Like, I listen to UK rap. Like, when I do listen to rap, I listen to UK. That's it. Because they get busy. And it's some type of substance in it. It's drill. People hate drill, but there's some type of substance in it. It's funny some of the lingo they use and the verbiage and their tone of voice and everything, accent, but they get busy and they put out stuff frequently. So maybe they deals are just better. Whereas American artists just, hey man, let me get on a playlist, let me do a show, let me get paid. That's it. I don't care about the craft. Like the past 3 years, people are like, nobody's putting out music. Yeah, it's a reason for that. And I'm not really mad, particularly at the artists, because you're not really getting cashed out. Because what is the stream worth? And that's what these writers are saying to Hollywood. Like, we know a stream isn't worth anything, but we still want to get paid for something, which is fair. It's absolutely fair for them to even feel that way. But again, artists need to do the same thing. So I don't know, man, because you can't. People be like, "Oh, this is time for people to make up original scripts." You know, who's gonna pick them up? Hollywood is only gonna pick up what you're selling. It's gonna be like something that's sweet, something that the kids can eat, something that's just let's eat it. It's a bunch of sugar. You get hyped. You get off that sugar high. Like, oh, that was kind of bad. It's everything. It's a business, and so. And then a couple months or last year, I want to say, me and Davis actually talked about too about the importance of stars and how important are they. They were talking about, yeah, that was like a couple months ago. I want to say that. I don't know. My times are all over the place. Time is just relative, man. But it goes and intertwined with what I'm about to say, or the next topic I'll bring up. So, with this topic being the importance of Hollywood stars, this is showing that it's more so now just about the property. And maybe that's the right why the writers are like, yo, this AI stuff is getting ridiculous because Davis keeps having this termination, so to speak, that eventually the the actors will just be AI. I mean, which is true. It goes to what I talked about earlier, and the artists I said. But I felt like they will just start AI, which is scary, but it's like, why not? We're spending less money on, we don't have to feed it, and it's crazy to even think about it. So it sounds superstitious, but it's real. We can spend money on this actor, actress that doesn't exist. We don't have to pay them residuals later on in life. We don't have to pay them right now. The hologram version might be $1 million or less than that, which you should just get an actor, but they feel like actors and actresses are more so a liability. We don't have to feed this person because let me tell y'all, from a person that's been on these Hollywood sets, they hate feeding people. Lunch should be super quick. It's like, dude, we doing a 16-hour day. We only eating for like an hour. That's criminal. Of course, you get like some downtime when they got to do turnarounds and stuff like that. Like, yeah, take it from me. Like, I love it. I want to get back into acting. Need the money. Need money for a lot of shit, but that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, it can be strenuous. I'll just say that, but it's fun nonetheless. And I mean, you make a lot of money doing nothing. Like with me, even though I wasn't, I was doing a lot of background grip work, stuff like that. Bro, background. In the time I was doing it, I was making more in a week than most people make at their job in like 2 weeks. Even even being a union, so get back into that for sure. I'm thinking about it right now. Like, damn, how can I get back in? But I think a certain company doesn't have me on. So, besides that, yeah, it's just the lack of need for actors and actresses aren't aren't part of the property. So you just have a property, and more so with your property is just, all right, we got the Teletubbies, which I feel like they're gonna get next. I remember they said recently that they did have a Barney movie. Yeah, I had to think about it. Like, was that a dream? I don't know. My sleep pattern has been messed up the past 24 hours, so yeah, that's how I know I'm getting older too. By the way, people. Besides putting the strain on my body, it's just like, dude, around 9, 10 o'clock, I'm out. Usually, I put my cell phone away by like 7 o'clock, and I'm just out. So, uh, I'm stay with me, stay with me. And distractions too. Everywhere you go, distractions. Anyhow, the need for actors. I don't think so. And get Chris Pratt to do it. Chris Pratt is like the go-to guy right now, like the only person. Like me and Davis talked about, like they don't have many go-to guys or girls like they used to. Hell, it might be Chris Pratt who needs to give his agent like a Rolex every time he books a movie because he's booking a lot of movies, like a lot of stuff from Nostalgia Factors. He's booking now. He's doing voice of Garfield. Guardians 3 came out, which is a huge grossing movie this year. And you got Super Mario, which again might crack. If it probably did, I could look it up. Probably cracked top 5 highest grossing movies all time at this point. Like they haven't said anything about putting it on streaming platform yet because it's still killing. The movies that they put usually on a streaming platform ASAP is the movies that are bombing theaters. This is still making money. I could look right now, it's still making money. So it's actually, I'm sure it's out on the usual, but it's still killing the theaters just because they got the international run, and that's also going to help Spider-Verse too, because now they're doing the international run, and they're going. I'm surprised they let them go to. It's actually being, I think, distributed in China as well, and China is really strict. Like if anybody doesn't know the laws of China as far as movies go, they are extremely strict with you putting out. I'm not taking this hat off though, but I don't know. All right, this is embarrassing, but we keep it going. You don't go anywhere, so it's just you just it's a bunch of, and it's no fixture to it because Hollywood doesn't do it with common sense. They don't deal with it at all. It's very fixable. Just pay people, stop being. But it's corporations. You can't just tell corporations it's to pay people because otherwise they wouldn't be corporations. So it's very easy to tell them, fix this, do that, pay the people. But it's corporations. They're stingy. So there's no fixture to that. Of course, they'll come up with a deal because obviously the actors and actresses are getting involved and they greedy asses, we want to get paid. Like, I understand if you working, but if somebody already, and I'm not pocket counting because hell, I can use any type of money that these actors and actresses get. So, but once they start stepping, it's like, all right, something's gonna be fixed. I don't know. I haven't seen too many of them say anything, but I'm pretty sure they're stepping in because eventually it's gonna step on their money. Because if we have nothing to shoot, we can't get paid. TV shows, movies are on standby. And because, it might be a blessing in disguise for Blade because I feel like Blade was going to be horrible. And they were supposed to start shooting that this month. And that got pushed back for like the 50th time. And now they're able to do rewrites. So it might be a blessing in disguise. And Blade might be that next big property that Disney needs because this phase 5 ain't going to be it. But, yeah, Chris Pratt is the go-to guy, which is crazy. The guy from Parks and Recreation is the now go-to guy for Hollywood by default. By default, he's no Arnold though. I've actually been watching that documentary, man. Arnold Schwarzenegger might be the greatest leading man ever. I'm standing down on it, like, dude. Watch this documentary. So I watched the Netflix just because I was like, all right, let me tap into what's going on because I know he had a movie called called Food Bar. I think it's called Food Bar. I think that was called. I don't know what that means, but it sounds kind of wild to me. It's like a nasty but healthy food. So he has a Netflix movie that came out, and I was like, all right, shouts out to Double Toasted. That's my probably favorite show. I can't even call it a podcast because they do it like 4 times a week. And again, I wish podcasters would slow down, but everybody putting out content, including myself. But need to watch that movie. So also it followed with a documentary series by him, and he's talking in it. So it's narrated by him. He's talking about his life, and it goes from him starting out as a bodybuilder to actor. It's 3 parts, and then him becoming governor of California, the governator, as they call him. And the dude's story, like it goes into like if a lot of people don't know anything about his story, it goes in real detail stuff I didn't know. And I've been a fan of his movies since the 90s, obviously, like everybody else. But me, I got to the mid 90s. So I remember being a shorty watching Terminator 2 on repeat. That's around the time, I started getting hip to stuff. But my favorite movies by him growing up were Last Action Hero, which he talked about was a failure and he was depressed about that. Last Action Hero, and Jingle All the Way. Those were like my first real memories of him. And then I got to Terminator 1 and 2 because I remember they used to show Terminator 1, I believe, on TNT TBS, which is the same thing, essentially, Terminator 2 as well. And then I got in later on the Commandos and Predators because they show them on TBS all the time. So when you look at his story, I'm like, dude, this dude might be. He had this idea, and maybe manifestation and all that shit is real, having dreams. He had an idea of what America was by seeing the man that played Hercules back in the day. I forgot his name. I just finished the last part earlier today. He had an idea of what it was, and it took steps for him to get there little by little. Like Mr. World. I gotta forgive me, man. I'm sorry. Uh, totally unprofessional. So it took him from steps from going from being Mr. World, then Mr. Olympia. Then he got bored. It's like, man, let me just get into acting. And then James Cameron had a big beef, but you know, it is what it is. Avatar movie's trash too. That's a whole different conversation. And it was an idea of him, you know, telling James Cameron, like, I don't want to be an actor, I want to be a star. And that's what he became. Like, how do you explain a 6 foot whatever, let's say 250 jacked up Austrian? All right. I know where Austrian is, look that up. It's somebody that the dude I named earlier was a big fan of somebody that grew up not that far from there. You feel me? So to have that accent, he had to learn how to do English to then come to America. Goes from New York or Miami, goes to New York, Miami, and then LA, where he's been living now. Bro, it's crazy. That man been living in LA longer than I've been alive. Since like 1970, something like that. So you can do the math on that. 1975 at the latest. That's insane. With no English. And then become governor. And then you know, theories about how you become, you know, involved in all that stuff and all that. I'll leave that alone. But still, let's just look at the surface level of things. That's dude, how you make that up? Dude might be the greatest actor of all time. Barely speaks any English, has some of the greatest one-liners. The greatest one-liner in movie history. And people are like, yeah, let's make him the go-to guy. He's the biggest actor in the world in the 80s and 90s. He had like a John Cena run with movies. And then now, you know, The Rock, for the most part, I guess he's still a leading man. But him, you know, he took over that spot on The Rundown. And then from The Rundown to now, which was basically 20 years, he was the go-to guy. But the thing is, The Rock is American, but you see a big bulky dude, and he talked about on the Pivot Podcast. Shouts out the Pivot Podcast. I know I talked about bad sports branding, but the Pivot Podcast is actually good. I'm glad they got away from I Am Athlete and that goofy over there. You know what I'm talking about, the main dude on there. So The Rock was in, you know, kind of a pocket like him. Like, you too bulky. Like, dude, you too intimidating. The Rock was like, no, I'm going to stay swole. They try to tell Arnold Schwarzenegger, you too big. Everybody else is like Al Pacino, the Robert De Niro's. These dudes are shorter, slimmer than you, and they're just actors. And you decide you want to be a bodybuilder, jump into acting. But he found his lane. And I think that's the best thing I learned from it was, besides the whole goal chasing aspect of it, which I don't need self-motivation about. Hell, y'all see this. Y'all think I'm just putting stuff out because I don't have no life. It's true. But also, I like working, which he talked. He said, I can't think about how I feel about a situation. I got to keep looking forward. I got to keep going forward because that's what it is. If you're working, you can't think about the right now. And that was the best aspect I took from it. Now I took something from that about going forward, focus on, you know, working, because that's what it's all about, is just working. despite all this, like, I mean, you don't have everything that you need, uh, equipment, money, things of that nature. You still work despite, you know, and I took that aspect of you got to keep going, and I love that. I think anybody's listening to this, you can just take that aspect, no matter what, just keep working, because that's why I'm obsessed with working. It's not to say I'm better than anybody. It might be competition of me competing with myself, but it's a more so fear of, dude, what do I do when there's nothing to do? I'm getting a little different about me, but I will at this point. It's the point of, what do I do when I'm not doing anything? Nothing. And I don't like doing nothing. I don't like just sitting down, because when I'm just sitting down, it's just like, because I don't really get a chance to just be sitting down and just chill out. Phone goes off all day. People want to ask me questions, so I don't get to zone out. But for a short period of time, with him as well, being somebody that loves to work out, obviously, when you win all those awards, and me being obsessed with working out, which is my medicine, so to speak, besides this, you it keeps you, even for those couple hours that you at the gym, going to the gym, it's like a muse, so to speak. It keeps your mind going. And that's the best thing I learned from that, is just the work. What are you doing right now at this work? You know what I mean? Like, with me personally, man, listen. And like I said, I didn't want to get too deep in depth. I don't like talk about myself. I don't like putting myself over. But I take the aspect of time and what it means to everybody. Like, what is time for you personally that's listening to this? What does it mean for you right now? What's going on in your time right now? Where do you see your time being what it is? With me, I don't like distractions. Like, I hate distractions. It seems to be, I get distractions when I don't call for it. And usually when I get unwanted distractions, I get rid of it, because I'm the person of, I'm always this way. And distractions could take you other ways. And, you know, nowadays too, people egos, you don't know what their egos and how they conveying it to you, but you just take it. So with him, I won't say he's egoless, just because in order to get to that place where you think like, all right, this is where my life should be, this is where I want to go. It's an egotistical standpoint of it. It's an egotistical standpoint of it. Like, with myself, I tried to pride myself on not having an ego, but it's in fact false. When you have these essential goals, like I got on this list and I keep in my pocket as if it's a blank check to success, it's ego, because you think these might happen. But it takes a certain type of ego to win too. So, you know, I took everything I learned from the documentary about, somebody that's non-American, made it to become one of the greatest Americans in the height of when America was America back in the 80s. America, like him, Sylvester Stallone, all these guys, Hulk Hogan, the Hollywood Blonde, Jabroni, all these people that were like in the 80s that made America what it was. Like, we going against communism, capitalism, everything. The Reaganomics, that era. This guy that spoke no English came over here and prevailed and became one of the biggest actors of all time, one of the most famous, hands down. So when you look at, anybody that's in that situation, it's just like, I guess you do have ego. And that's what I'm taking from me. Originally, I was going to get on here and talk about his movies. I mean, dude, Total Recall, Commando, just keep Predator. Come on. Like, these lasting movies. And it goes back kind of to what I was talking about with the leading man thing. Like, they don't make those anymore. It's like Stallones, the Wesley Snipes, the Will Smiths, the Denzels, the Sidney Poitiers. That's probably done. Is it because of technology? I blame technology for a lot of stuff, but in a way, it does help here. Yo, y'all gonna think it's a roller coaster. I gotta clean this up next time. How this camera keep going back and forth. But the leading man is done. And then you think about the aspects of this person that had goals and everything. He was privy to what he wanted to do. Does it take a leading man to become what you think is your goal? To becoming lead in whatever movie you're in. Actually, that was a bar. I like that. I rarely do that, but I like that. No, but I'll say check it out. Tap into it. It's on Netflix. I know they got the password sharing thing. Hey man, I got a different type of Netflix. I don't know. Y'all find the sites. But uh that's it. I think that's it for this week. As usual, thank you all for being here. What am I doing today? Nothing. Just work. Finally worked. Did something. By the time this is out, I by the time the same day, yeah, I'll probably have a episode out with Wrestle Rap. Shouts out to Spark. Shouts out to Van. As usual, Random Acts of Podcast. You can find me there on the bonus content. Regardless if I'm working or not, subscribe to the Patreon on there. Patreon.com/RAO podcast. And for the most part, tap in Pardon the Banks, PARDON. Or no, I changed the name again. I'm sorry. The Man Called Banks on IG. TikTok is Pardon the Banks, but The Man Called Banks on IG. No Twitter, because I don't care to see others' thoughts. Thank you as usual.